G'day, Legion. Welcome to the Spearo podcast. It's interviews with spearfishing experts, authorities, and characters from around the world. Today, we're off to Norway. It's Arctic Spearo. Really, really nice guy. Go and follow him on Instagram, Arctic Spearo. He's now an instructor. One of the cool things he's got underway too is he is starting to teach immigrants from the Middle East and war-torn Ukraine that are sort of coming over into Norway, and he is teaching them for free how to go freediving and spearfishing. But as usual, the biggest hurdle is getting that first lot of equipment. So if you're in that area, or if you have the ability to send some equipment Jorgen's way, reach out to him, Arctic Spearo on Instagram. I'll mention that again at the back end of the show, so you can follow up on that if you like. But have a listen to his interview. Really interesting guy, broad set of interests. I think possibly the most interesting thing about him is he suffers from a disability. And one of the major reasons why he was keen on coming on the podcast was just to encourage other people that may have disabilities, whether they are physical on the outside or whether it's, something that you can't really see, but it's going on at a biological level, whatever. But he's a very good encourager. His story should be an encouragement to everyone that is in that kind of situation. And I think he's a real gentleman to come on the show and share a little bit about his journey into spearfishing. So I hope you enjoyed today's interview. And again, follow him, Arctic Spearo on Instagram. Really cool guy. Wanted to read out a quick review. It was actually a personal message on Instagram. Carly says, "Hey, Shrek, I just want to say thank you so much for your free, easily accessible, humble, and educational content. I spend most of my days with your podcast in my ears and I'm obsessed, but also makes me feel a sense of belonging knowing there's other learner Spearos at my level too and humble with the fish they get, etc. I live in an area with not much variety, but I want to make the most of the sport here and get a feed. There's such a stigma in the sport that I have at times felt that if I can't spear big pelagics, that I'm inadequate for the sport. So it's really reassuring to be able to listen to Spearos from all levels, from all areas on your pod. There's really so much content, and I've learned so much from your content, which made me a safer, respectful, and knowledgeable diver. In turn, more experienced divers want to take me out. So Carly was going to try and get on the Mackay trip. I love having people like Carly on the trip, just everyday noobers, people that listen to the podcast and, really, really enjoy this spearing lifestyle and make the most of it. And biggest value of this show, if I can say one more thing, is no ego. But hey, let's get into a fantastic interview with Jørgen, Arctic Spearo. Here we go. A little bit of a late drop in here too. I realize, Jørgen, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday, my friend. I hope you have an awesome day. See you, buddy. Shop for your spearfishing gear at adreno.com.au. In-store and online, you can use the code NoobSpearo to save $20 on any purchase over $200. Why would you shop with Adreno, I hear you say? Well, let me lay it out. Flat rate shipping, $9.99 on all orders. Hassle-free returns policy. Australia, price match guarantee. Shop now, pay later with Afterpay. Fully sick brands. Huge, obnoxiously ginormous range of great spearfishing gear made just for legends like you. Go Adreno, go pro, don't be slow. Shop massive spearing gear at Adreno. I'll stop, Shrek. That's a no. But seriously, shop with the Spearo's longest running partner, Adreno. Head to adreno.com.au online or in-store at their huge mega stores. Use the code NoobSpearo to save $20 on any purchase over $200. Are you US based, looking for freediving, spearfishing gear? Neptonics is the best. Their online website, so easy to use. If you've got any questions, Jerry and the team answer questions via phone, email. Anyway, they've got an easy contact form on the site. These guys are absolute legends. And if they sell it, they believe in it, they back it, they use it themselves. It's tough gear that works. Visit neptonics.com. Use the code NOOB10 to save 10% on any order at neptonics.com. That's right. Use the code NOOB10, N-O-O-B 10 on your next order. Save 10% at neptonics.com.
I used to get told there are only two certainties in life, death and taxes. But I found out that there are actually three. Score a free hat of your choice when you use the code NoobSpearo with every purchase of over $100 at noobspearo.com/taxman. Get some gear that's nearly guaranteed to drive away the worksters, but gain admiration from the fishing fraternity. Go to noobspearo.com/taxman and use the code at NoobSpearo when you spend $100 or more to get yourself a free hat. Again, noobspearo.com/taxman.
All right, g'day Noob Spirit community. Today I'm joined all the way from Norway. It's Jørgen Jenssen. This guy's a bit of a legend. Arctic Spearo is his handle on Instagram. Sort of the pitch that I got was he's a guy that's dealt with having a disability, like a fairly serious metabolic disorder, and then he has managed to just single-handedly, I guess, take on spearfishing and do pretty well at it, Jorgen. Would that be a fair summary?
Yeah, so I'm kind of still in disbelief over how well it turned out. I don't know. I'm really out of words.
Yeah. Which part of Norway do you live in?
Northern part. A lot of people have heard about Lofoten. So this is just in the vicinity, just a few minutes away.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm old. No, I'm 39. I'm turning 40 this May.
Yeah, righto. Okay, cool. So, how long ago did you start spearfishing? It's only 3-4 years ago or something.
Yeah, the winter of 2021.
Wow. You're mid-30s, you've got a serious metabolic disorder, and then you decide you're going to start spearfishing in Norway, which is, it has come on the spearfishing radar, but I'm imagining it's fairly small there. Well,
it's growing, but it's still fairly small. But it wasn't like a in the moment thing. I've been wanting to try this for years. I have tried it earlier also, like with a 3 millimeter water sport wetsuit with a zipper and no hood and 3-degree water. And you try to go out and I was overweighted and I sank to the bottom and had to drop my belt. I didn't know what a belt drop was at the time, but I still did it.
Wow.
I had a bad experience, so it took a couple of years for me to try again. But when I had the opportunity, it was just absolutely amazing. It was it opened up a whole new world for me, both to my health and to my social life and to my everything.
It's made a difference to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what opened the door for you? Did you say it was the winter or the summer of 2020, was it?
No, midwinter. It was 3 degrees Celsius in the water.
I've been swimming in 3 degrees.
I've been sitting. Winters in northern Norway can be pretty dark and cold, and if you're not a skier, it's not a lot of activities to do. So I've been watching YouTube for a whole winter and wanting to try this more and more. Then I just started reaching out to people that was dealing with freediving gear, and just started asking them, "Can you please help me?" And finally, I met someone who was willing to give me a chance, and he gave me a wetsuit at you can say at a discount price. He told me, just pay me whatever you have and I will give you a kit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very generous.
Yeah, it's very, very generous. So he opened up this for me, and I got my open sole suit and a couple of fins and a mask and just the basic gear. That was it.
And then middle of winter, so you were cutting a hole in the ice to get in.
not that bad. It's now we have the Gulf Stream here, so it's the ocean. It stays thawed through the winter, so it's open water.
So did this guy sort of take you under his wing and take you out as well?
No, we live in different parts of Norway. He live in the southern part. But he ended up being the same guy that was the instructor when I got my instructor's course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He invited me to live at his house, and he's just genuinely a good guy, wanting to spread the fun and spread the love.
Yeah, awesome. There's some cool people in our spearing community. I think it makes it what it is. It's a bit of a pleasure getting a chat to a lot of them, to be honest. People are don't you get bored talking about spearfishing? I'm like, nah, there's so many quirky legends that love this thing that we do from all over the planet. You're just another one of them, Jorgen. So you were you had a failed attempt at spearing. You wore all the wrong gear and did everything wrong. Then you've sort of been watching YouTube, the middle of winter, you've reached out, you managed to get hold of a sort of a discounted set of gear, and then what it looked like, what did getting back into it look like for you? I mean, did you go out with someone else or?
Yeah, no, I started out alone because I didn't know better. It was kind of bad going out unexperienced all alone. But at least this time I had the proper instructions on how to be weighted correctly, and I did it safely. I was underweighted all the time, but then I just started evolving, and it went so fast. It was a whole new world, and it was absolutely everything I had hoped it would be, and everything I imagined it would be,
Yeah, yeah.
and more.
Sometimes you just know that it's for you, and you're just going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
If we can we talk a little bit about your disability? Like you might have a disability, but you definitely don't seem like you're disabled, and you haven't allowed it to disable you. Do you know what I mean? Like you're an enabled person with a disability. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I used to let it define me when I first got my diagnosis, and it was really rough. Like being told that, all these problems is because of a disorder that's it's genetic. It's not going to go away. You're going to stay like this. But then again, over time, I got to peace with the fact that it's not progressive. It's not getting worse. It is what it is,
Mm.
and I have to just do what I can with the cards I've been dealt.
Mm.
But I really let it define me. So I was really depressed for many years, and I didn't feel like I had a purpose
Mm.
until I discovered that I was actually meant to be freediving, like I always wanted to do.
Yeah. And from a physiological point of view, does it make your condition better or worse, or is it does it?
A lot better. No, it makes it better because my condition is it's more manageable the better, the more exercised my body is, the more training I get, the better my body can handle the difficulties. But still, my body cannot take regular exercise
Ah,
because it's too hard, like going on a hike in the mountains or lifting weights or anything like that is out of the question.
oh wow.
But just being in the water, just moving in water is resistance in every movement you do, but it's without any load to the joints and the sinews and stuff.
I understand.
So the more I swim, the more I don't have to exercise,
Mm.
but just be in the water, just swim, just free dive.
Yeah.
It's pure medicine.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's medicine in more ways than just purely physically. Like you've kind of alluded to, it's allowed you to overcome some mindset, maybe stuff like in terms of allowing a medical condition to define you, which like I think everyone can look at it from an academic point of view and think, oh, you move past it, but when you're in the thick of it, I think it would be much more difficult to do that. I know in my own life, I've suffered with different sort of mental dynamics, and they're actually the ones that are holding you back. And they're very difficult to overcome on your own. It's just almost like you want some outside help. It's funny that spearfishing has been a vehicle for you to be able to do this. I it's something new for me to really look at a new way to look at spearfishing and understand it. What is if you don't mind talking about it, what is the specific metabolic disorder you have?
It's let me get this right in English. My AMPD1 gene is defect. So it's like one of the genes that controls your metabolism.
Ah,
And it's defect. So my body runs on like 30 to 50% capacity at all times,
wow.
energy wise.
Mm.
So I live tired.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
like exhausted. I don't know what it's like to have energy.
Yeah. So do you have to sleep more?
Nah, I'm okay with like 8-hour nights.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah. But just dealing with increased fatigue level.
Yeah, but I have to do. I do have to rest, and in periods I have to really just take the bench and let other people do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And then it's always hard because people look at me and, like you say, you can't. It's not obvious that I'm disabled.
Yeah.
So people just look at me and I go, why isn't this? Look at this big guy. He's 200 pounds. Why isn't he helping with the heavy lifting?
Yeah.
That's hard.
In spite of this metabolic disorder, you are a high output individual, as I like to say it. You are typical of a lot of Spearos in the fact that you seem to have done quite a lot in your short life. Like, I have a little list here: mechanic, blacksmith, captain, fisherman, sushi chef, father, son, friend, drummer, bass player, freediving instructor now, spearfishing instructor, competitive Spearo, and you love to inspire others as well. Like, this is an impressive list for someone that doesn't have a metabolic disorder. So well done on being resilient and just having a good crack at life. So then after having a go at it in 2021, you've ended up participating in 4 national competitions and 2 international competitions. And then you've gone on from sort of strength to strength and starting to win your own competitions. You are having something to do with the Nordic Spearfishing Championship this year. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool, man. So you started in the winter of 2021. You get in the water solo with a secondhand set of gear. From there, how did you end up competing in the national competition? It seems a big leap.
Yeah, it was. I was. Okay, it's a bit of a story there. It was a problem for us when we just started getting into freediving. We didn't have a community here. We didn't have a club. We didn't have anything organized. So we started our own group, Arctic Sparrows. And when I went, I had to travel. I had to travel for a couple of weeks to get my diver license because there was no instructors in my vicinity, in my area. So I had to take a long trip. And while I was in a totally different part of Norway, I got into like a big tent that the Norwegian Diving Federation had set up.
Okay.
Because they were going on a tour and letting people have like try out dives. They had free diving gear and just invited anybody who wanted to join and go for it to try out free diving. So I walked into this tent and started talking to these 2 guys sitting in there. And I heard their accent, their dialect. It sounded kind of similar to my accent. And this one guy just said, "Dude, where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from Hadsel, Vesterålen." "Oh, what? Why aren't you in our club?" Yeah, we contacted your club and nobody answered, so we just made our own club instead. That's not going to happen. And I don't know, like 1 week later, I was enrolled in the club, and there was a big change. And like a few months later, I was a board member of the same club and still is.
Oh wow!
And this same guy that got me into like that made us join our clubs or put our club under their club is the same guy that started pushing me into my first competition. Like, yeah, now you're certified. You can go. You're allowed to compete in spearfishing. I'm like, nah, I don't think that's for me. But he just kept pushing me, and yeah, a couple of months later, I was in my first competition.
Wow!
And I won. Yeah, we had the guy that was the Norwegian champion at the time. He was also competing, like big names. Wow. And he had some bad luck, so I beat him pretty good.
That's excellent.
And then they just started pushing me to join the Norwegian nationals, and the rest is history. Made a national team after that. And
the Norwegian Spearos are quite colourful. There's 2 podcasts about spearfishing in Norway. Are you familiar with Havkontuga and Just Add Water?
Yeah.
You must know these guys too, probably.
Yeah, I do. I've been. I've actually been on an episode of Just Add Water.
Wow. I remember reaching out to Oyan way back in the
Do you
day.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, early on,
And
yeah.
I think I tried to get him on the Noob Spearo podcast, and we were backwards and forwards, but way before they started their podcast. But that podcast seems to be growing from strength to strength too. It's in Norwegian though, isn't it?
Yeah, they're doing some episodes in English now because they started to gain such a variety of listeners that they have now a request to do episodes in English as well.
Perfect.
So they're trying it out.
And Oystein has have Kontulga podcast, I think, which is do you know this one? Oystein Sunderland.
Yeah. I know his name. But what's the name of the podcast? Havkontoret.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Havkontoret. Yes.
Yeah. Both very cool. It's such a small part of the world. It just has this flourishing spearfishing community and all of these things happening out of it. Obviously, like some videos have blown up Norway as a destination. You know, like Daniel Mann's halibut videos are very
Hollywood.
cool. Halibut, yeah, very memorable, and such a pristine country above and below the water. You know, like it's a beautiful country.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're in this Norwegian spearfishing championship. You enter this competition and you win it. Can you remember what fish you shot and things like that?
Oh yeah, I remember. I believe it was one cod and 3 coalfish and a flounder, if I remember correctly, like a place.
Very cool. I think sometimes because of the halibut, everyone else tends to ignore all of the other fish, but you have some amazing fish there, particularly flatfish, like the place, and there's so many cool fish there. Like those cod that you're talking about, they're pretty cool fish. They don't seem super smart, but you have to find them.
Yeah, they can be tricky sometimes, but especially this far north in Norway, they're pretty docile. They don't really have too many enemies, so they kind of seem stupid. But if you come to other parts of Norway where they've been hunted more, you can see that there's something going on behind their eyes. They are kind of smart also, but up this far north, they're not used to spearfishing or spearfishers or being hunted like that. So sometimes they just come straight up and start biting the flopper of your spear.
They sound like
and then it's not even fun to shoot them when they do that.
Yeah, but if you're hungry, I'm sure it's still okay.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
So you're a guy. You have this metabolic disorder. You're functioning on 30-50% of what a normal person's energy levels are, but you manage to get out there, go spearfishing, and not only just go spearfishing, but do it really well to a competitive level. Walk me through your dive process, and is it different for you than most people? How does it affect you differently? I'm imagining that you're not a like a let's swim 5 kilometers before we start spearfishing kind of guy. But how else is it different?
No, it's like I'm trying to be strategic for a competition. I study the maps really well. I get to know the area as good as I can to try to make a plan and not having to swim too much. Because like you said, I'm not a swim 5 kilometer kind of guy because of my disorder. So I have to be strategic about those things. Also about my activity levels before a competition. Like the Nordic Championship this year, I was supposed to be the arranger, but since I'm also competing, I need the possibility to just drop everything a couple of weeks before the competition and just rest up and be ready. While other spearfishers, they go out, they scout, they dive and really get to know the area. And that way I have to use maps and kind of my experience from being a fisherman.
So you talked about being strategic. Is that where you have a slight advantage with the fishing knowledge?
I hope so. I like to believe so. Just to study maps and to try to interpret out of them where you can find the fish according to where the currents are and stuff.
Are there a few things that you wouldn't mind sharing with others about understanding how current and structure interact? and specifically in Norway?
Like, I don't know. I don't have too much experience from other parts of the world, but here it's like current and structure. Those two things create fish. It's like fish aggregating devices. Piers, bridges, pillars, and if there's also a current in the area, there's always going to be fish there.
Have you made a bit of a study of which fish are going to be in a given location, given a certain direction of current or certain strength of current?
Yeah, there's like if the current is really strong, we will always find like cod and those fishes, they are clinging to the bottom, like they don't want to work. But coalfish and pollock and these kinds of more swimming, active swimming kind of fishes, they are usually thriving in the strong current.
So for a Nordic spearfishing championship, how does your strategy play out? Do you like to work the biggest times of current movement so that you're in those areas, and then when the current is moving less, I'm imagining tide has an impact on it? Is that where you might go and target more flatfish and stuff that are more out of the current and more? Depends.
No, it's absolutely. It depends. It's the current. It depends really on the moon cycle. It can be really strong. Sometimes it can be really weak. So, like the date of a competition, it's set by what time it is of year, what month. Is it? It's in a weekend. It's not by the moon phases and the current. So it's just trying to do the best that you can with the conditions that you have there and then.
Okay.
And so I think it's fair also because we all the competitors have the same conditions then.
Yeah. Are the Nordic Spearfishing Championships, is that a swimming competition? Do you all start from a central point, or is it boat diving?
No, this we can decide for each competition, but this one is all boats. It's where we have these insane areas lined up with like 3 starting points and 1 common finish area, and huge areas with lots of islands and like shallows and current, all of that.
Since 2001, Ocean Guardian's independently proven and tested products have been allowing ocean goers all over the world to enjoy the ocean without concerns. With products for diving, spearfishing, surfing, snorkeling, boating and fishing, they've got you covered for all your ocean activities. Check out the Freedom 7 or the Scuba 7 and save 10%. Use the code NoobSpearo at checkout. If you want to go there and check out their devices, go to noobspearo.com/OG. Again, pump in the code NoobSpearo at checkout to save 10% on a Freedom 7 or a Scuba 7 and get yourself some peace of mind. Check it out, noobspearo.com/OG. Are you in the market for a new spear gun? Killshot Spearguns has got blue water wahoo tuna guns, open track spear guns, enclosed track spear guns, rear handle enclosed tracks. Check them out at killshotspearguns.com. Even better, I've got some good news for you. You can save $30 on any Killshot spear gun at killshotspearguns.com. Use the code NOOB. If you're in store, just say crikey, mate, or say Shrek from the Noob Spearo sent you, and you'll save $30. Ed Martin at killshotspearguns.com. Check him out. Sometimes with weather and commitments, it's a long time between drinks in your spearfishing journey. If you want a dry training program that can keep you in some kind of shape for spearfishing, check out Ted Hardy's 28-day freediving transformation at noobspearo.com/Ted. That's noobspearo.com/Ted. Now, the 28-day freediving transformation is just a practical dry training plan that Ted Hardy will walk you through
and it will help you get results even if you can't get wet at the moment. Check it out at noobspearo.com/TED.
From the videos I've seen of the area, there are large parts that seem to be relatively barren and lifeless. And then sometimes when the areas seem fishy, they're really fishy. Would that be a fair summary?
Absolutely. Because it's big areas. We have a lot of coastal line. It's a lot of fjords. It's a lot of. If you start going through it all, it's a lot of nothing. Just a pretty sand and kelp forest and stuff. But when you get to the right places, they are absolutely more fishy than anywhere else.
You mentioned when we talked about structure earlier, you mentioned artificial structure. Is there an artificial reef program in Norway? And how do you find fish with regards to like shipwrecks and things like this? Do they congregate and aggregate like they do in more tropical environments?
Yeah, they do congregate around wrecks and around structures. We have a lot of natural structure, like reefs and points coming up from the bottom and to more shallow water. So we're not depending on the artificial structures because you just learn how to read the landscape, and you will pretty quickly start to find those areas where the fish is. But I also have friends that moved from southern Norway to northern Norway just to do spearfishing and didn't see one single fish until I took them out spearfishing.
Yeah.
Because they didn't go to the right places.
Yeah.
So northern Norway, it's a paradise for spearfishing and freediving, but you can't just go jump in the water anywhere and believe that you're going to see just masses of huge fish.
When I look at large areas of fairly barren, fairly plain terrain, and there's not a lot going on from a fish wise, I always wonder if the area would benefit from more deliberate artificial reefs. Like in Florida, they have a pretty awesome plan where they take some of these areas that are just sand and really, there's not a lot of structure to hold and benefit, an ecosystem. I looked at some footage from Norway, and I wonder if you guys would benefit from some artificial reef, some intentionally planned artificial reef structure. What do you think about that, though? Because this is just me as a tourist looking on with zero knowledge about the actual area.
No, I think you're onto something. I think the reason that it hasn't been done already is because Norway, as a fishing nation, we have a lot of resources. So there hasn't really been a need to evolve the tourist fishing or like that side of it. All of the commercial fishing we do, we have so many resources there that it hasn't been explored yet. But now, as free diving and spearfishing is growing, might absolutely be something to consider in the future.
I think one thing when we're stewards and conservationists and we care for the environment is we always want to see it flourishing. And I look at sometimes, the natural world as an opportunity. I think sometimes artificial structure can be really cool. I actually want to do an episode on it. But I did want to just ask you that question because I think sometimes, we take fish from the environment, but we want that to be a sustainable impact. And I'm using the word sustainable, I think, hopefully as it's supposed to be used and not as like, the ivory tower type way of using it where we sound good so that we can feel good. I legitimately mean like we want to take fish out that are reproducible in that ecosystem, and we don't want to put more pressure on than the area can sustain. And a lot of you Nordic guys, like I get the same vibes from you, but I feel like the popularity of the sport and, Norway has this vibrant fishery and lots of resource. But like everywhere on the planet, it is going to face increasing pressure. So,
no, like I said, I absolutely believe that you're onto something, and it's something that it would absolutely make an effect on a lot of these fjords that are just sandy bottom all the way and kind of barren. And just put some structure out there. You can just look to Denmark. You can swim for hours and hours. You don't see a single fish until you find a rock pile, and then it's just packed with with cod inside.
I would love to learn some Norwegian names for some fish and understand a little bit more about the fishery from your perspective. The eel-looking things that look like a wolf fish, you've shot a few. Your caption on one says it's 12.85 kg. It says "Nei pers pa grastinbit" or something. Can you remember this post? And how do I say it?
Yeah.
How do I say it properly?
Gråstenbit.
Rostenbit.
It's like the eel wolffish. I believe we have four kinds of those here.
Okay.
The gray, spotted, blue, and
black.
A fourth one I cannot remember because it's not common to catch them. They are absolute beasts.
Yeah.
But still, they are also. I have mixed feelings about harvesting those.
Okay.
Yeah, I see them every time I'm out diving almost. But they eat the sea urchins.
Yeah.
And the sea urchins are killing the kelp forest here in Norway because they are overpopulated because the seal population is too high. So they are alongside with over harvesting from fishery. The eel wolffish was almost, what do you call it?
Endangered.
Yeah, it is in danger. It was almost gone, and now its population is in growth again because of conservative measures.
Okay.
So I really I often get the comments on those about, oh, they are so awesome, but then I have other friends that are marine biologists, and oh, you shouldn't kill those because they're doing a good job. But it's also the best tasting fish in the ocean.
Wow.
So I kind of take one per year or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, that one that you're holding up is great. I'm going to link up some images of some of the stuff we're talking about today. It will be in at noobspearo.com/Jorgen. So it's Jorgen. It's not really an O though, is it? What is that?
Yeah, it's an O with a line across it.
What is it? It's an accented O. Jorgen.
Yes.
Jorgen.
Yes.
Makes me feel like a Viking just talking about it. It's cool, man. Like your culture is so distinctive too, and I think the spearfishing it's cool. You guys have got your own vibe going. The Nordic spearfishing thing, I think, is very. I don't know. It's very cool. I can see why everyone wants to go there. It's on the destination list, you know. So you've got your metabolic condition. You have an absolute froth and passion for it. You jumped in midwinter. What did you struggle with apart from the obvious in terms of energy levels and not wanting to do big swims? What were the things that you struggled with, and how did you overcome them?
Actually, the biggest struggle was the financial part, the gear and stuff. As soon as I got a proper open cell suit and started, gathering the gear and getting it piece by piece, it was there's no
not too many difficulties.
It wasn't hard at all. The hardest part was getting the gear. And as soon as I just had the basic gear and could start going in the water, it was just fun and games.
I'd imagine a person that has less energy levels would probably be quite good at relaxing and, conserving energy, which is a natural skill to have for spearfishing.
Yeah, they say that the best free divers, they are a bit lazy. So I believe that, absolutely, because I had to learn how to calm myself down. But also, freediving and spearfishing has learned me to do that in a whole new way. Like breathe.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel the anxiety like crawling up my back, just breathe, dude. Prepare for a dive. Just breathe, and mellows out, instantly almost.
Do you have any specific techniques? Do you do like a lot of people teach, 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out, or something similar?
Yeah, similar. It's for my part, it's use a longer exhale than inhale. Because inhaling raises your heartbeat, exhaling lowers your heartbeat, as I understand it. So spend more time exhaling than you do inhaling, and just avoid, hyperventilating. But slow, nice tidal breathing with longer exhales than inhales. It's
Do you purse your lips when you exhale? Like, for example, like
yeah.
to sort of regulate it, and you hold like positive pressure in your airway?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I love on your Instagram the picture of you coming up from a kelp forest. We call that, I think, pretty commonly bull kelp.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It says same there, or is the name the same?
No, we call it stortare. Kelp
Stultara.
is tare.
Okay,
So
cool.
this is the biggest kind. So stor is big,
Yeah.
tare is kelp. So
Okay.
big kelp.
Diving in kelp is like a whole other world for, like subtropical, tropical Spearos look at it and they don't really they don't really understand what goes on in it, because it looks cool to look at, but it can be quite intimidating, and it moves. It's always moving. And then you have to learn how to navigate it and hunt through it. Can you talk to me about that experience?
Oh yeah, like when I first started out, the kelp, it was terrifying. It was really, yeah, I was scared of it. I was swimming around, swimming over, white sand, and everything was nice and easy. And suddenly I had all this brown and green stuff moving all around underneath me. It was like, oh no, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go back to the white and nice sand.
Yeah.
But as you progress, you learn that in the kelp forest, that's where it happens. That's where the life is, and you start seeking it, and you realize that like this is where the fish is, this is where all the life is, this is where it's fun to dive, even if you're spearing or just free diving or taking pictures. It's in the kelp. That's where it's all going down. So you go transition from being scared of it to wanting to find more and more of it.
So when you are scouting new ground and you are looking at electronics on the boat, can you identify kelp from the sonar?
No, it's I maybe some people can, but I'm not that good at interpreting the pictures from the sonar, because like it can be just a density of bait fish just above the bottom. It could be a really soft clay bottom instead of a rocky bottom that gives a different image on the sonar and stuff. So no, I'm not too good at interpreting that.
Yeah. Well, like, people talk about scatter, and then, dialing the gain up and down so that you can define better detail. But a lot of the time, even here, we find an interesting point on the sonar. Someone still has to jump in and go and have a look. You might
Yeah.
be suspicious, but is it the same there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm not too experienced with boat diving. I haven't had too much experience, because we do a lot of shore diving. We have, like I said, a lot of coastline and a lot of places that are accessible by a car and just walking down and jumping in the water. So we haven't used our boats too much.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah, and shore-based diving though can be difficult too, because sometimes, like, the beauty of a boat is if the area seems relatively poor, that you just get on the boat and you go, a few kilometers away and maybe have another investigate. If you're shore diving, you can only go where you can swim, and I guess, yeah, I mean, you spend a bit more time maybe looking at maps so that you are going to an area that you think is going to be good.
Yeah, but we also we take a trip, we find a bridge, like we look at the current, we look at the tide and all, and thinking this is going to be a good place. But we still have the other bridge over there, a couple of kilometers, a couple of miles away. So we just get out of the water and jump in our cars, drive over, and get in at another spot. So it's really easy to. It's just it's islands and coastal lines all the way here. So we have so many different locations to choose from. So the boat is just a luxury here to reach the more further out spots.
So you have two guys. You jump in at a bridge and it's barren and lifeless. So you go back to the car, but you've been in the water for an hour and a half. I know that I've urinated at least twice by then if I'm diving. Do you have a pisset in your wetsuit?
No, I have a pisset lying at home that I still haven't mounted on my wetsuit because I think it looks too funny. So I'm still just doing the thing with just pulling up my jacket and putting the thing out and just taking some cold water in my suit.
Yeah, that would be freezing. I like it. Yeah.
Of course, I've been like a half a mile offshore in the midwinter. I'm not gonna open my wetsuit to take a pee, you know.
But then if you are swimming back to the car, and I'm imagining if you're just getting in the car and driving to the next bridge, maybe it's 10, 15 minutes, you're potentially sitting in a pissy wetsuit with another man for 15, 20 minutes in the car. Is that a situation that happens? And do you put towels down on the seats when you're traveling between spots?
Oh yeah, we use like neoprene suits, covers over the seats and stuff. But I can't say that I would get in the car and sit down if I had pissed my wetsuit. I would need to rinse off first at least.
I'm remembering I was in South Australia diving with a friend, and we had a rental car, and we were in 5mm wetsuits because it's cold for us, like 10, 12 degrees Celsius, maybe a little bit warmer. But like I was definitely pissing in my wetsuit, and I had a Farmer John, so it was just trapping that in there, and then you try and rinse your wetsuit off, but it's in the boot of the car, and you're driving for hours. It's just like, everyone knows what's happened. So when we started talking about that, that's automatically where I started thinking.
Yeah, but they say there are two types of freedivers or two types of Spearos, whatever. It's the ones that they piss in their suit, and the ones that lie and say they never do.
I lie, but then I go for a drive with someone and they know. Yeah. These are the realities of doing it. So it's funny you have a neoprene cover over the car seats so that you don't damage the upholstery and stuff like that. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, but I think it's Omer that produces them, so it's like a commercial thing.
Oh wow, I wasn't even aware of it. That's cool. What's a memorable fish that you shot? Maybe an early one.
Oh, my first Coalfish.
Okay, perfect. Tell me about it.
No, it's not my first fish. I've speared some cod and some smaller pollock and Coalfish and stuff, but this was like the first big fish. Like I was in a tidal current. It was my birthday, actually, and it was the start. Like, I actually borrowed a Speargun. I didn't have my own Speargun at the time, so I borrowed one.
Okay.
And started just figuring out how to dive down in the current and place myself over this rock formation that was sticking up, and the Coalfish was congregating around it. And it was just a process of diving down and getting closer and closer and getting off a couple of shots, missing, and then just finally nailing that big one. And it was to this day is my best spearfishing experience. I remember how I had to fight. I really had to fight the fish to bring it up to the surface because I hit it in the tail, like really far back. So it had all the power to swim away from me. So I had to kick like hell just to get up to the surface with it. And but the feeling when I managed to get close to them close enough that they relaxed next to me and I can get off that shot. It's it's really magical to me, and I always looking for that experience, just to get better, just to find out how can I be smart enough to not scare the fish.
I very much understand what you're talking about. I think that's there's so much involved in it. There's luck and opportunity, then there's skill and self mastery, and there's so many moving parts to create these situations. So the word you used, magical, I think it describes it.
Yeah, absolutely. It is magical.
There's another word that comes to mind too in English. I can't remember what it is actually off the top of my head, but the definition is like the spearfishing experience is greater than the sum total of the small parts that make it what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And because everything has to come together, and then you have to come together, and that mastery side of it, and then it's a special thing. And it sounds like that
Yeah,
Coalfish was one of those moments for you.
absolutely. It was like a moment where like different pieces came together, and I started figuring out, just getting the gist of it. And just as it goes off like a ding inside your head, and you realize, oh, this is that's how I should have been doing it this whole time. And then trying to hone those skills and really mastering them. That's it's so much fun.
So that was a defining moment for you.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that with us, Jorgen. For you now, it sounds like coalfish are a species you like to hunt, but you've mentioned a few. What is your favorite species to hunt? And what have you learned about how to do it effectively?
I know how to find cod. I know how to find eel, wolffish, and halibut and flounder and stuff. But it's really not a challenge to hunt them. It's still the coalfish. It's number one for me. Pollock also is really fun to hunt when they get to a certain size, because they're getting smarter also as they're getting older, and they're getting harder to trick them. So I like the whole process, just learning how to act around them, how to move, just make them at ease with your presence.
Mm.
And I feel like when I'm in getting close to a school of big coalfish, and suddenly I'm in the middle of the school and just lying there with them not reacting to me. That's it's so much fun. It's like I don't even have to shoot one of them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's the process of knowing that I didn't outsmart them, but I got close enough that I could have taken one if I wanted to. That's also kind of a bad thing for me being a competitive spearfisher, because you need to practice hitting stuff, not just finding fish and sneaking up on them, but you also have to pull the trigger and figure out your spear placement.
That is the side to competitive spearing that some people have thought about, I think. And that's maybe one thing that deters people, because I think to become very good at competitive spearing, you actually have to just shoot a lot of fish. And you get really good at accuracy, shooting your gun, understanding range, shooting in different postures, and then also shooting fish that maybe wouldn't normally be your target species, but because it's on a list and it's part of the competition, it's what you're going to be sparing. It does force you to be more strategic, but yeah, it's a funny thing, like, because there's a lot of Spearos that are lifestyle Spearos, and then there are competitive Spearos, and sometimes people mix the two, but quite often they're quite distinct. Is that what you think, or what do you think about that?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. It's like I started out as a lifestyle sparrow, like you say, and I just enjoyed the process of finding out where is the fish, where are they, when are they there, how to get close, how to be like, and just swimming up on them and simulating a shot and thinking to myself, yeah, that's okay, I had that fish. But then when I started going into competitive spearfishing, I need to hit every single fish I find. And that's when I realized that I need to shoot more fish. Because it's not a simulated shot is not the same thing as a well-placed spear.
Yes,
So I kind of had to. It was a wake-up call to me that if you're going to compete and you're going to be a competitive spearer, you're going to have to shoot a lot of targets, and you're going to also have to hunt a lot more fish. Luckily, I have a lot of friends and family that also like to eat fish, so nothing ever goes to waste.
I love that feeling underwater when you pull the trigger and you know exactly where that shaft is going. You want something dependable. You want to put that fish that you've been chasing for a lifetime in the boat, in the cooler, in the esky, in the chili bin, if you're in New Zealand. Why do we call all these things different names? Anyway, today's show sponsor, KillshotSpearguns.com, make awesome wooden timber spear guns, a fantastic shooting platform. If you've ever shot a big timber gun, you know the reliability that you get from these things. He mostly makes enclosed track spear guns. Visit him at KillshotSpearguns.com. Use the code NOOB to save $30 on any Killshot spear gun.
Hey guys, not sure how you stay hydrated out on the boats on those long days out on the water, but staying hydrated is absolutely critical towards good equalization and looking after your body, making sure you're not doing those awkward one-legged kicks to the surface when one leg cramps out on you. Go to aqualite.com.au and get yourself a box of sachets. You just simply add them to water. It's less than $1.28 per serve. It's cheaper and healthier than any other sports drinks on the market. Aqualite will make a difference in your spearfishing. Check it out at aqualite.com.au. Use the code NoobSpearo to save 10% on any order. Check it out. Aqualite, made in Western Australia. To make the most of your spearfishing trip, charter or competition, I am putting together a 50-day Spear Ready program so that I can be in the best condition to make the most of this WA comp. It's a big swim comp, shore-based, and big swims for the day. I am not carrying a hell of a lot of physical conditioning because just due to my life and lifestyle, pretty busy with 4 kids. So this program will be 100% focused on action. And I thought since I'm doing it, why not take a whole bunch of other people along for the ride? It's a 50-day program incorporating strength and conditioning, nutrition, dry and pull training, and everything else with a bunch of experts. I reached out to a whole bunch of legends I know, like Adam Stern, Jared Rosenberg, strength and conditioning coach, and we put together this program basically to get the most out of our bodies and make the most of these opportunities. Sometimes they're only once in a lifetime. You really want to arrive in the best possible condition that you can be. So Spear Ready, 50-day program to help you gear up. Go register, noobspearo.com/Spear Ready. You said that those wolffish are your favorite eating fish. What other species in your area do you really, really like to eat? How do you prepare it?
Oh, you're going to probably find this answer a bit boring because, again, it is coalfish.
Okay.
I find it to be the best tasting. It's the best texture, and I eat it fried and boiled. You can eat it. We have it. It's a summer dish here in northern Norway with coalfish, fresh coalfish, newly boiled with potatoes, and sour cream, and it's just it's absolutely amazing. And other times we boil it and then we let it go cold. We also do the same thing to it, salmon. We boil it with some like pepper, salt, pepper, maybe some lemon, and we just let it go cold, and we eat it with flatbread and freshly boiled potatoes and sour cream. And it's so good. The texture and the flavor is the best of all the white fish we have here.
Coalfish and pollock, they're very similar, but different sizes as well. Yeah, like the coalfish grow much larger, don't they?
Yeah, I believe the coalfish get larger than the pollock. The pollock also gets really big, though.
The eating quality, though, of a coalfish is better.
To me, to my palate, it's I like the texture, I like the flavor, a lot more than even cod.
And are coalfish a shallower water species? Because I noticed they have smaller eyes, so I'm assuming that they don't need to draw in as much light.
No, you find them to they go really deep as well. Like you can have them at 120, 150 meters. Like in currents, in tidal currents, you can find them really shallow because they are a hunting species. It's like the tuna of the north. They're really strong and they're really fast.
Yeah, right. And I noticed the lateral line is different. Like it's more of a pale or white color on the coalfish, and it's dark on a pollock.
Yeah, right.
Do they swim similar?
They swim really similar, and they move in similar areas also. So in the beginning, it can be kind of hard to distinguish them from each other. But like it's one of the coalfish is more pale underwater, and like you said, it has the white lateral line.
Yeah. Okay.
To distinguish it from the pollock.
Okay. So you get in there, you're laying on the bottom, you hopefully get surrounded by a school. In terms of shot placement, where do you like to shoot these animals?
I'd prefer to stone them.
Yeah.
Like short process, no suffering. So as long as I get a holding shot and I can kill the fish within a short period of time, it's okay. Like the worst thing I ever do is get a gut shot and watch the fish tear off the spear.
Oh,
it's like it ruins my whole day.
Yeah. I hate it.
I don't want to do this anymore. Let's just go home.
It's hard though, because sometimes when you have a poor shot, the way to fix the shot is to shoot more and fix what's going on, or at least determine what's going on. My brother-in-law, Jaden, I sort of taught him to spear, and he started to get pretty good, He was on this trip and he's starting to dive really well, like he's laying in deeper water and he's actually really hunting now, getting very good technique, but he just missed fish all weekend. And then someone actually showed him and they rolled his spear and he realized that it was bent. So it wasn't going where he was shooting, but that's the first time that he had that experience. So he spent a whole weekend shooting and missing. Sometimes working out what's going wrong in your shot process can be quite difficult. Have you had problems like this?
Yeah, I've had, but it's been more due to switching back and forth between regular and a roller. I knew from advice from other Spearos that you shouldn't be switching up guns and setups. But I really wanted to learn how to use the roller gun, and I'm a avid fan of rollers. As long as they're set up correctly, there's nothing that beats them in my mind.
I like them too.
So I did have some problems going back and forth there, but it was more due to the back and forth between standard and roller and different setups on the spear gun.
Yeah, cool. All right, I understand. Yeah, very cool. So shooting in general is not something you struggle with. Do you ever target shoot or anything like that?
Yeah, we try to do practice sessions and do target shooting.
Do you have a conscious shot process?
No. Line up behind the spear gun with a straight arm and locked shoulder and
pull. Squeeze or pull?
And just squeeze.
Yeah. What's your main go-to spear gun?
Now it is Rob Allen
roller
Tuna.
Okay.
No. Okay. No, I moved away from the rollers for ordinary regular hunting.
Okay.
Now it's I like 1 meter spear gun, double banded. 1.75 millimeter, no, 6.75 millimeter shaft.
Yeah.
And 14 millimeter bands. And one 140 spear. And I find that it's so precise, it's so powerful. Like the small diameter of the shaft, along with the long band stretch with 14 millimeter bands. It's easy to load, it's quick to load, it's precise, it's everything I need a spear gun to be. I blow my shaft straight through 2 coalfishes this summer. Wow. Yeah, so like the one just came accidentally behind the other, and it was just a line through the both of them, through the neck. So it was
very cool.
I really like that setup. I got thinner shaft, thinner bands, but a bit longer shaft.
You've heard what the Americans call that, eh?
No.
Twofer. Like a two for one, but they call it a twofer.
Yeah, a twofer. Yeah, the two fish in one shot, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's cool when it happens. It doesn't happen often. And have you ever had a school of fish in front of you and you thought, they're so close and there's so many of them. I'm just going to aim in the middle and pull the trigger and see what happens?
No, yeah, of course I did that thing and just tried to throwing a shaft in the middle of a school, but
Hit
I
nothing.
realized pretty quickly that you don't get anything and you're more likely to hurt a fish than to hit a fish. So
yeah, it's funny how that's how you learn how the schooling behavior is effective for predators, because we're the ones that are falling afoul of it by thinking that that's what that behavior is for. It's designed to confuse predators and stop you from honing in on any single individual. So it's a bit of a discipline to go, yeah, there's 500 fish in front of me, but I'm going to shoot that one.
I think that's some of the beauty of spearfishing, that you have the possibility to choose that exact individual. That's the fish I'm going to have for dinner tonight. It's not like with a line and hook and ripping mouths and hurting fish, probably killing 10 fish in the process of catching one.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I don't begrudge line fishermen either, but I feel like, but I hear what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying. I think for me, with a big school of fish, and I'm imagining the coalfish are the same, in a military language, they call it a target-rich environment, but I almost feel like sometimes it's easier when there's one fish because you aim for it. But when you have a school of fish, then you tend to go, oh, that one's the biggest. Oh, no, that one looks bigger. Oh, no, that one looks bigger. And then, oh, no, that one looks big and it's close. And then sometimes it's almost like there's too many options and you just don't settle up and just pick one and shoot it. Do you ever get that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's decision fatigue. You spend so much time trying to decide what is the biggest and what fish to target that you spent all your oxygen and you just have to quit and go back up without any fish.
Yeah. All right, cool. Toughest situation, Jorgen. What is the toughest or scariest situation you've been in the ocean, and what happened, and what did you learn from it?
I had a bad line. We always dive with a buoy and a line. It was really soft, and I wasn't conscious about how I maneuvered on the bottom. And when I turned to swim to the surface, when I was out of oxygen, I had the line tangled around both of my feet.
Oh,
So I started panicking for maybe a second, and then I realized that I still have two hands. So I just started swimming with my arms, and I got to the surface. It was really scary at first, but when I came out of it, I realized that, okay, I panicked for a second, but then I got to my senses and I did the right thing. And I stayed calm and I just swam to the surface with my arms. So I think what I got away from it was that not just that I should stay calm, but I'm able to stay calm if something goes bad.
yeah.
So I hope that's something I can bring along with me in the future.
They call that self-efficacy, where you start to believe in your ability to do the task that you need to do in the moment. And it's an important thing. And the only way we learn it is unfortunately by experience. And I think that's the one reason why we have to go and do difficult things, because it makes us grow and feel more confident in ourselves and our ability to deal with what's going on around us. You strike me as a person who has more than a healthy dose of that, probably because of overcoming some of the things that you've had to do in order to go spearfishing. So that's a cool thing. Funny stuff. We've already talked about pee-pee stories, as you mentioned. Have you got any poo-poo stories?
No, not any good poo-poo stories. Like nothing else than just okay. There's maybe one time I got the need to go. I've heard the nature call, and I was diving, and I just happened to be outside where my grandmother was living. So I just went up to shore and ran up the beach and up to her house and ran through her living room, going for her bathroom in a panic with my wetsuit coming off. And she was like, "What is going on? Sorry, I need to use your bathroom."
Did you yell out at an aquabolt, Grandma?
Yeah. No, that's
the dive reflex.
Yeah.
You became a freediving instructor and a spearfishing instructor. What was your motivation for that, and where do you want to go with it?
My motivation was It's really simple. Like I said, I had to travel a long ways just to get my freediving certification, just to find a course, because there was nothing available, and the ones that were available, I had to travel far and I had to pay a lot of money. So my motivation for becoming an instructor was to make it more available for people like me. So now I'm doing introduction courses, and I'm planning now this spring. I have 3 courses that I'm doing like at cost.
Cool.
With where I gather sponsorship from organizations and companies, and they pay for like pool rent and
oh wow,
like all the cost, and I do the course for free for the in first round. It's for like underprivileged kids.
Oh wow, I want to do something similar.
We have a lot of youth from Ukraine that has come to Norway and that are living in Melbu, where I live. They need something to do, and they need something to. Yeah, they need something. I don't know what it is, but maybe freediving is one of those things that can be beneficial, just because it gives people a purpose, and it gives them a sense of self empowerment when you can go into the water and master your own body and mind and hold your breath and stay underwater. Like the look in somebody's eyes when they realize that they held their breath for 45 seconds for the first time in their life. Like for us, 45 seconds is just a regular dive, but for someone who thinks that 15 seconds is their max capacity, and watch them come up with that glimmer in their eye, and I love it. It's absolutely the best thing about it.
The froth.
Just seeing people. Yeah.
I love it too, man. There's nothing quite like it. I think when you start spearfishing, a lot of the time it's about shooting fish and, and seeing what you're capable of, and then it extends beyond you, and you start wanting to see that same joy in others. And it's cool that you're turning around and reaching back out and helping some people. It sounds good. Who are some of the sponsors that you have on board for that?
It's just local businesses.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah. The same business. And I relied on a lot of sponsorship for going to these different competitions also. So it's just local small businesses putting in some here and some there, and all together it's we have a great sense of community here, because we're a small community, just 2,500 people living at the place where I live. So we need to take care of each other, and it really helps to have that sort of community when you're trying to do. And as long as you're doing something good, you have them all behind you. They all back you up all the time. So
send me your address. I'll send you some books for some prizes for these guys. You can distribute them as you like. That'd be cool. It'd be cool to be a part of it.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I will do that.
Hey guys, interrupt the podcast just to have a quick request. Jorgen is doing some free courses for youth that have come from the Ukraine that have ended up in Norway. He really wants to help these youth out with some free courses, but he needs a few kits in youth sizes. So if you could help him out, hit him up. It's Arctic Spearo on Instagram. If you're in a position to send spear gear to Jorgen in Norway, or you know someone that might do, please contact Jorgen at Arctic Spearo on Instagram. Legends. Ocean Guardian and Noob Spearo have partnered up to bring you a 10% discount on the Freedom 7 or Scuba 7. These are shark deterrent devices brought to you by powerful Shark Shield technology, the world's most effective electrical shark deterrent, scientifically proven and tested, backed by governments, research, and multiple independent bodies. This is some of the best tech on the market. They continue to innovate and inspire. They've been doing this for more than 20 years. Check it out, noobspearo.com/OG. That's noobspearo.com/OG. When you get to Ocean Guardian, check out the Freedom 7 or Scuba 7. If you want to purchase, use the code NoobSpearo to save yourself 10% on your Shark Shield device. The Freedom 7, 10% off. Go to noobspearo.com/OG.
If your buddy had a blackout on your next spearfishing trip, think, what would the outcome of that be? Do you know how to revive someone from a blackout? Would you even be in a position to do something about it? Or would you be diving, chasing after a fish as your buddy sinks down to the bottom of the ocean? Do you know where most blackouts happen? Do you know what you can do to minimize your risk of having a blackout? My name is Ted Hardy, and I'm the founder of freedivingsafety.com. In my free online course, you will learn the truth about shallow water blackout, the myth of, I don't push myself, I know my limits, I'm in tune with my body, how to minimize your risk of having a blackout, and most importantly, how to save your buddy's life if they have one. Visit freedivingsafety.com to sign up for your free course today. Dive safe out there. It's not even that hard.
We're running out of time, brother. I want to sort of carry out a couple more sections if I can, Jørgen. Your dive bag. What's in your dive bag? From head to toe, what's your sort of go-to dive kit?
Oh, it's really basic. It's my 7mm wetsuit.
What's the brand?
Open cell. The brand is Freesub, the Turkish brand.
Okay.
I like them because they're really soft and flexible. They do get compressed easily, so I don't have them for too long. But it's my go-to suit. In the winter, I use 3mm singlet underneath my jacket to stay warm. Gloves. I like to wear gloves, but in the coldest of winter, I use like the 3-finger mitten.
Yep.
5mm socks, 5mm gloves, weight vest, weight belt, ankle weights, dive knife.
Who makes ankle weights and what weight vest are you using?
The weight vest I use is Freesub also.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah, I think so. The only thing I don't like, it does not have a quick release. So I have to be really conscious about not having too much weight on my vest and have most of it on my belt in case I have to do a drop.
Have a look at my friend Bert's weight vest. If you go to oldmanblue.com.au, have a look at his weight vest. He's been thinking about it a lot. And he's on at least version 7 or 8 of iterating this thing. But he has lower back problems. So he developed his own weight vest. And I use it. I don't quite like the weight distribution when I have just a vest on. For some reason, I still prefer a belt. But his vest is the best one that I've experienced using. Just if you want to have a look at something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always like just sharing different gear ideas. But I love talking with people in different parts of the world because they do things differently. And Norway has got its own... You guys have your own gear manufacturers and stuff, don't you? Like there's a wetsuit company there. There's a few...
No, it's like... Yeah, it's a company that they outsource the production of a lot of... So a lot of the gear is the same that you get from other manufacturers. It's just a different name on the brand.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's still cool to have your own Norwegian flavored gear, though. So ankle weights, what brand of ankle weights were they? Because I've never heard of, I've heard of people wanting them, but I don't know any brands that make them.
No, Freesub makes them.
Okay.
I had my first pair. I lost them, and then Freevangsliv, like the Norwegian brand, they make them.
Okay.
Omer Immersion makes ankle weights. Yeah, cool. So they're different brands of it.
And your Rob Allen Tuna, it's open muzzle, isn't it?
Yep.
And are you running a float line and float still, or are you what's your go-to setup?
Yeah, I'm doing a line and a buoy as long as I'm if I'm going for a big halibut or something, I will disconnect from the line and put the Speargun directly on the line to the buoy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go down with the whole thing if the fish takes off.
Oh, slip tip, you mean?
No, I don't use no slip tip. Just instead of having the buoy, the line from the buoy connected to my weight belt, I just take it off my belt and put it directly to my Speargun. So I'm free of all of it. And otherwise, there is a line going to my belt and from my belt and to the Speargun. So I'm always connected.
Okay.
So I can drop my Speargun and it will come after me. I can drop my weight belt. I can just pull it back up and my Speargun will be attached. And
okay.
But if you're going after like really big halibut or something like that, you don't want to be attached to the gear.
Yeah, I can imagine. After seeing some good videos too. All right, cool, man. Well, thank you very much for anything else in the dive bag that we didn't cover off.
No, it's one thing, like important piece of gear to me. It's like to have my knife for safety, and to have my dive watch to watch my surface time and my dive time.
Okay, yeah, nice.
So it's and a good pair of fins. Like I heard that advice when I first got into spearfishing. Get a good pair of fins. That's the best investment you're gonna do.
Yeah.
And to today, it still is the best investment I ever done. It was to get a good pair of fiber fins and get away from the cheap plastics.
Yeah. They make a difference,
especially in the cold water here in Norway. The plastics, they turn into like swimming with fiber boards on your feet, just rigid planks.
Yeah. I never thought about that. The impact of cold water on it. Yeah. Very interesting. Cool. All right, cool, man. Well, let's do some faster paced questions. I've got Spearo Q&A, and then we might cover off anything else that I've forgotten to ask you about that you wanted to share. What is the single best piece of advice you've ever been given for spearfishing? And you can't say the fins one because you just said that.
Oh, the best ever. No, it's easy, actually. Relax. Just relax. Slow down. It's for at least for spearfishing. For me, it was a really, really good piece of advice. That, and I can also add, do not try to stare down the fish. Go after a big pollock and just keep looking it in the eyes. It's never going to come up to you. Don't show your eyes.
Question 2. What is the spearfishing destination you would most like to go to on the whole planet?
Latham Island.
Yeah, Dogtooth Tuna?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. When are you going there?
When I get an invite. I'm gonna go there someday. It's just not in the works not for this year, at least.
Tanzania, for everyone's reference. Yeah, it sounds amazing. We've talked a bit about your challenges that you face when you're spearfishing. Who is the best person to go spearfishing with for you, and why?
Oh, it's my first spearfishing buddy that I ever got to know. His name is Bendik. His capabilities are the same as mine, and we think alike. We have the same mindset when it comes to safety and looking out for each other.
Perfect.
So I always feel safe, and there's never any argument over where to go, what spots to check out. We just click, and I feel really safe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a good answer, man. Last question. Could you describe what the spearfishing experience means to you in one sentence?
I'm gonna look at
He's getting the notes out.
Yeah, actually I have to take a look at my notes there because no, it means a lot of things. Actually, it's I don't need to look at the notes. It means like self-improvement. It means social life. It means development for me as a person. It gives me the opportunity to help others. It's fulfillment.
Nice. Love that answer, man. I always forget to ask people what else we missed or what they would like to chat about. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on, Jørgen?
No, I really think like I said, wrote in your email, like, you know how to do this, and the format of your interviews takes it in the direction it needs to go. So I think we have covered most of it.
Perfect, brother. Arctic Spearo on Instagram, guys. Come and follow Jørgen. He's an inspiration, and if you know someone that has struggled with a disability, they've dealt with some hardships in order for them to be able to go spearfishing, I think this man's a massive encouragement to people, and I'd encourage you to put them onto this interview and to get them to follow Jørgen because he's an inspiration, and I think that I've loved unpacking a little bit more of your story and getting to share it on the podcast. So thanks for coming on, brother.
Thank you, Shrek. It's an absolute honor for me, and just putting me on the show. You're doing exactly what I'm hoping and what I need to happen, and it's just putting this out putting this out there and letting people know that they can do it too. This is for almost for everyone.
I love it. I love the frame. I love the frame up. It's you've just helped me realize people come at spearfishing from a whole bunch of different angles, and your one is unique, but it's an inspiration to people that are dealing with stuff. I'm really looking forward to sharing, as I mentioned, some innovation around loading spear guns in this episode somewhere, so that people can understand a little bit another tool to give them access to go spearfishing. Because if you are struggling with something, sometimes people have thought about it before you. So reach out to Jørgen if you are dealing with something. Arctic Spearo on Instagram. Man's a legend.
Thank you. And can I please add that this is not just confined to physical challenges and disabilities. People struggle with mental issues too, and they are just as real. But they're also freediving and spearfishing. It can be pure therapy.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's awesome. All right, Jørgen, we're going to head on out. Cheers, brother. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed Jørgen. Absolute legend of a man. Reach out to him, Arctic Spearo on Instagram, particularly if you share some passion around giving some of these youngsters that are coming from war-torn countries a bit of a start in spearfishing. This is a lifestyle that you love, because you've listened to this far into the podcast, so that is clearly your vibe. Why not instill it in young people that maybe are not don't have as much opportunity. So if you've got some spare gear, or you're a manufacturer or a retailer and you would like to send it, reach out to Jorgen, Arctic Spearo on Instagram. I'm sure he would be super grateful. As usual, guys, massive thank you to the patron legends putting fuel in the Noob Spearo outboard. I'm happy to say this week there are a couple of bonuses for patrons. I recorded a 4-part breathwork series, and part 1 is now up and out on patreon.com. I don't know if we're going to release that to the wider world, but right now I really want to just look after our patrons, the guys that are putting fuel in the outboard. There's a whole bunch of people that have signed up for our Spear Ready program. You might have heard it. It's 50-day full workout plan and community around getting prepared to make the most of a trip of a lifetime. The beta testing round went off with an absolute bang. If you are interested in having a look at Spear Ready, go to noobspearo.com/Spear Ready. But if you're a patron, you're probably going to get free access to that, free access to the Breathwork series. And it's just my very small way just to say thanks for giving back. I'm not going to harp on and on, but patrons basically invest in the Noob Spearo podcast on an episode-by-episode basis. They can do so for as little as $1 an episode, all the way right out to our guns who are supporting the show. And there are a few of them at $10 an episode. And I've got to tell you, whether you're putting in $1 or $10, I'm extremely grateful for the show and for the support that it's had from the community, from people just like you, telling their mates, buying 99 tips, 99 spear recipes, sharing the word, and putting this podcast in the hands of noobers, people that are brand new to spearing. But I know that many of the guys that listen, many of you that are listening, are absolute experienced spearos and just love hearing other people's stories and tales and adventures. But the main drive of the podcast has always been to serve noobers, and there's going to be an increased focus on that coming up in the next year or so. So, hey, oversold the Hardline, Beyond the Hardline, Mackay Intermediate Spearfishing course and charter. So thank you guys for sharing that word. There will be many more trips in the future. Go to spearfishingcourses.com.au to register you're interested if you want to come and do anything and hang out with a bunch of other people that are probably just like you. But hey, legends, that's it for me for this week. I hope you enjoyed Jørgen, Arctic Spearo on Instagram again. And I'll see you back in another fortnight, maybe even a week. Let's see how we go. All right, legends, catch up.
In a world of cancel culture, we need to be bold and stand up. Ignore the self-censorship, have a laugh, and poke the bear, or in this case, a shark, but fuck the tax man. Listeners get a free hat of their choice when they spend over $100 at noobspearo.com/taxman when they use the code at noobspearo with designs that capture the frustration of having your fish taxed. You'll love the FTTM long-sleeve UV blocking fishing jerseys, t-shirts, hats, and more. Visit noobspearo.com/taxman. Use the code noobspearo to score a free hat of your choice when you spend $100 or more. Again, go to noobspearo.com/taxman.
Buying gear online can be tricky. You ask yourself the same questions. Will it arrive on time? Is it actually what I want? How much is the shipping going to cost? Great news, the name you can trust is Neptonics. Neptonics, solid gear that works. Visit Neptonics, buy tough gear. Use the code NOOB10 to save 10%. That's right, use the code NOOB10, N-O-O-B 10, to save 10% on your order at Neptonics.com.
Are you looking for spearfishing gear in Australia? Head on down to your local Adreno Spearfishing Superstore today and explore their ginormous stores filled with mad gear and frothing staff. On top of a huge selection of high-quality, Australia price-matched guaranteed spearing kit and high-quality expert Spearo staff, Adreno offer afterpay and a super easy returns policy. Adreno will have you geared up for your next spearing sesh with a massive smile. That's Adreno Spearfishing with stores located in Perth, Aspley, Wollongabba, Brisbane, the Gold Coast, Sydney, Melbourne. Get into it. Head in today or shop online at adreno.com.au. Use the code NOOBSPEARO to save $20 on every purchase over $200. Online or even better, in store. Your new spear gear is waiting for you.